Introduction. A series known for its painful pasts. Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, has carved a unique place in the hearts of fans around the world, not just for its breathtaking animation or epic sword battles, but because of how it humanizes its villains. One of the most consistent and heartbreaking tropes in the series is the tragic pasts of demons, often revealing that beneath the monstrous exterior lies a deeply scarred human story. Among all the demons we encounter, perhaps no backstory is more chilling and tear-jerking than that of Hantengu, the upper rank 4 of the 12 Kazuki. Hantengu's story didn't just make fans tear up, it left many in shock. The revelation of his past didn't offer redemption in the traditional sense. Rather, it painted a picture of deep psychological trauma, delusion, and an inescapable cycle of fear and violence. This is the story of a man who killed 67 people with his bare hands, and whose tragic life might still make you weep. Hantengu, a coward turned monster. Hantengu is introduced in the Swordsmith Village arc as a member of Muzan Kibutsuji's 12 Kazuki. At first glance, he doesn't seem like much. Shrunken, frail, shaking in terror, he appears to be the least threatening of the upper moons. But that is part of the horror. His ability to split into powerful emotion-based clones reveals the chaos within his psyche, each clone representing a different side of him: anger, pleasure, sorrow, and hatred. But where does this twisted ability come from? To understand Hantengu's power, one must delve into his past, a story that unveils the fragility of the human mind when corrupted by fear, self-deception, and guilt. A glimpse into Hantengu's human life. Hantengu was a man born with a deeply ingrained cowardice. Even as a human, he lived in a state of constant paranoia. His entire existence was shaped by a belief that the world was out to get him, that he was always a victim, even when he was the perpetrator. As a child, Hantengu had no parents to guide or support him. Abandoned, isolated, and unloved, he grew up mistrusting others and learning to hide his true feelings. This loneliness, however, did not turn into strength or empathy, it became a festering fear that would later explode into cruelty. As an adult, Hantengu committed horrific crimes. Not once, not twice, but 67 times, he murdered innocent people with his bare hands. The reason? In his delusional mind, each of those victims had done something wrong. They had looked at him the wrong way. They had talked about him behind his back. Or they simply existed in a world that Hantengu found threatening. But Hantengu never saw himself as guilty. Each murder was justified in his mind, he was punishing wrongdoers. He wasn't a killer, he was a victim of a cruel world. The trial and the turning point. Eventually, Hantengu was arrested and tried for his heinous crimes. In court, he continued his victim narrative. He screamed, wept, and accused others of wrongdoing. Even with evidence stacked against him, he refused to admit guilt. In his warped reality, everyone else was to blame. It was during his imprisonment that Muzan Kibutsuji found him. Recognizing the twisted psychological damage and immense potential for manipulation, Muzan offered him a second chance, not at redemption but at survival through demonic transformation. Hantengu accepted, and with that, he abandoned his humanity. But his trauma followed him. A demon shaped by emotion. Unlike other demons who gain clarity and confidence after transformation, Hantengu's emotional instability only worsened. His power as upper rank 4 was horrifying, not only in strength but in how it mirrored his fractured mind. He could split into multiple demons, each personifying one of his intense emotions. Sekido, anger, the rage he never expressed as a human but always felt. Karaku, pleasure, the twisted satisfaction he felt when punishing others. Izutsu, sorrow, his underlying guilt and self-pity. Yurogi, joy, a false, manic happiness born of delusion. Zohakuden, hatred, the embodiment of his deep-seated hatred toward the world. Urami, resentment, hidden in his final form, the smallest and most fearful demon, who still pleaded innocence even as he committed evil. Each form had a distinct personality, but they all stemmed from the same fractured psyche. Hantengu was not one demon, he was a man shattered into pieces by a lifetime of fear and lies. The battle at the Swordsmith Village. When Hantengu invaded the Swordsmith Village, he caused chaos. His power was overwhelming, but what truly struck fans was not the fight itself, it was the moment of his death. As Tanjiro Kamado, the story's hero, hunted down the real body of Hantengu, a tiny, shriveled form hiding within the other manifestations, Hantengu kept running, screaming about being wronged, even as he murdered innocents. In his final moments, he did not fight back like other demons. Instead, he He begged, he whimpered, he cried that he was innocent. Tanjiro, known for his compassion, did not hesitate. He saw through Hantengu's lies and finished him off, not out of hatred, but out of mercy for those the demon had wronged. A haunting flashback. In true Demon Slayer fashion, Hantengu's death was followed by a glimpse into his past. The story revealed his crimes and showed a memory of the court trial. A man stood before him and called him a demon, not because of fangs or claws, but because of the heartlessness he showed as a human. This moment struck fans hard. Hantengu was not a good man turned demon by tragedy. He was a coward who refused to own up to his sins, even to the very end. And yet, there was still something sad about him. He had lived a life filled with fear, with no love, no safety, no light. Even if his crimes were unforgivable, his existence was pitiful. That contradiction, of feeling both horror and pity, is what makes Hantengu's story unforgettable. A commentary on trauma and delusion. Hantengu's backstory is perhaps the most psychologically disturbing in the series. It challenges the viewer to consider. Can a person be evil and still evoke sympathy? What happens when a mind is so consumed by fear that it creates its own reality? Can someone so broken ever be saved? While other demons in the series, like Rui or Akaza, have tragic pasts rooted in loss or injustice, Hantengu's tragedy is that he was his own worst enemy. His downfall was not caused by others, it was caused by his inability to confront the truth about himself. Conclusion. The most heartbreaking demon past. In the long list of memorable demons in Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Hantengu stands out, not because he was misunderstood, but because he was disturbingly human. His story doesn't bring catharsis or redemption. Instead, it leaves a chilling emptiness, a sadness that comes from watching someone who could never escape the prison of their own mind. A man who murdered 67 people, yet died still crying, "I didn't do anything wrong." It's not just the number of his victims or the power of his demonic forms that make Hantengu's tale so haunting, it's the realization that in his entire life, he was never truly free. And that, perhaps, is the most tear-jerking story in all of Demon Slayer.